Thursday night, 8 p.m. hits like a hammer on steel. Rumble lights up, we're loading the wheel. Bible laid open, screens burning red. Me and my man cutting through the dread.
Head to truthmedia.com, grab that raw feed. No corporate chains,
just truth, plant the seed.
I'm the shadow hunter, she's a warrior flame. Tracing justice, live, torching the game. Shadow lights explode when the clock strikes 8, and arms riding hard, crashing through the gate. Drops turn to fire, darks tear the veil. Truth or media blood, we never will fail. Tracing justice, running hard and true. Thursday 8 on Rumble, me and you. Husband and wife forged in the fight, digging graves for lies on the freedom's light. Great awakening roaring, feel that rebel fire. Truthmedia.com, taking it higher. Lock it in, brothers and sisters. Faith like iron, no surrender, no rust. Rumble's our highway, in truth we trust. From morning to cold to the midnight ride, tracing justice forever, no place to hide.
Dawn and justice mornings, Thursday night thunder. Rumble at 8, tear the veil asunder. 2026 burning, this love runs deep. Man and wife standing, no promises cheap. Tracing justice, running hard and true. Thursday 8 on Rumble, breaking through. Husband and wife side by side in the war, digging deep for truth forevermore. Great awakening blazing, set the night on fire. Truthmedia.com, lift it higher.
Hey guys, I am still getting set up. I'm doing this kind of impromptu right now because we've had some new documents come down. Thought we might want to go over them since we don't have a Truth or Media show tonight. 3927365 is feeling under the weather tonight. So thank you everybody for showing up on short notice. If you are here in the chat, please see if you can hit that repost button, go out and X and say, hey, Justice is live. You might want to hop in. So thank you everybody for joining us. If you're over in Rumble and on YouTube, make sure you're giving us that thumbs up make sure you're giving us that repost. And if you're on pilled.net, I already see some people falling in there. Raising Cane, sup, and Thumper Rose is in here. So thank you guys, and make sure you're hitting that red pill and repost over there on Pilled. And we're also live on X, so we're gonna have some. We've already got 121 people live on X right now, so they're starting to funnel in. This was very unexpected. I kind of said a little bit ago that I was going to go live. I was going to go live yesterday. Wasn't really feeling it. Kind of wanted to take some time with my family. We went and saw Michael yesterday. It was have no chat here, headed to Rumble, Donna. Yeah. The chat's usually going on Rumble. Just in case you don't know, we are on our YouTube channel as well, and we are also broadcasting to Facebook. So we're trying to get on the back on those big platforms, guys. They're part of the battlefield. So if you're over on Facebook, hop over there, give me a little thumbs up as well too. That always helps us out. Let's see who we got going. Let me drop for our X family. Let me drop the Rumble link in here in case you guys want to hop over to Rumble. But if you don't, we love seeing you on X too. So thank you guys so much for joining us over there on X. Looks like we got Dawn, and Donna said she's hopping over to Rumble. We got Novell. He's pretty new to our family, so thank you. I'm pretty sure he's been kind of lurking for a little while, but he's starting to get into the chat, so howdy over there. Let's see, like I was saying, over on Pilled, we got Raising Cane. We got Thumper Rose. So thank you guys for joining us over there. And my Rumble chat, Cardius Maximus, I'm going to give you a call back today. Been super busy today. I did get your message. The Receipt Room has been doing some digging for Truth or Media, so I'm interested to hear what they have come up with over there at the Receipt Room. Let's see. So Shellin127, that would be Dawn over on X, and Yeet Force, and Bella Child. Hey Bella, how are you doing today? And Denise15, welcome in. And Ariana, I gotta get this right because we love you. Ariana 1. I'm sorry. I'm a hick, and I'm in the South, so I butcher names sometimes. So I do apologize, but I appreciate. Oh, it's Donna on X. Okay, that's right. I'm still getting everybody's cross names down. AJP has got them down, man. He has got them all down. I think he actually keeps like a list. I'm gonna have to start doing that, guys, because I am the world's worst about remembering names. And it looks like Rob just filed in over there on Rumble as well. Coffee Gal, let's go Josh over on X. And I think that's all we've got right now going on. So I kind of want to make a statement about this weekend first before we go any further. Okay, before we start going into Uranium 1, I've got a video we need to watch on Uranium 1 to get some kind of context that we're going to be talking about here. I think that's going to be important. What we're doing on this live today is what the mission tells us to do. Use facts of D-class information. That's exactly what we're going to be doing. I'm spreading the information to you guys so you guys can be educated and go spread it out to the community on X, Facebook, YouTube, whatever. That's the mission. We're going to be doing the mission here tonight. Okay, we're not going to be talking about who's fake and who's this and who's that. We're not going there. But I do want to talk about something that happened this weekend. So Saturday night, we're all well aware what happened at the Correspondence Dinner. Hey, Prayer Fire, how are you doing? I appreciate you, man, showing up in the chat over there on Rumble. So we are on Pilled as well, too, in YouTube, Facebook, and X. So, but I want to address some things and some of my actions, over the weekend. First and foremost, Truth or Media wants to be a place where we can all hang out, no matter what you believe. If you want to believe in med beds and you want to believe, if you believe that JFK Jr. is still alive, I'm kind of in that camp now. I'm just kind of telling you. So my opinions can change. whether you believe this is all, just we're watching a movie, or you believe in moves, counter moves. I want it to be able to be a place where we can have friendly discourse with each other and, talk to each other about these things and keep an open mind about things. And I failed to do that this weekend. It was very a charged weekend, if you could say. It was a weekend where there was a lot of high emotions. I am not one of these people that think that everything is completely scripted out, guys. I don't make that a secret, okay? But what I don't want to do is I don't want to disparage or discourage you if that is what you believe, because we're all needed in this fight, whether you believe we're watching some big movie or whether you believe that the war is real and it's still raging on. We need everybody out there spreading truth. So I'm going to apologize for, what I said to some Anons out there, and it wasn't good what I said. And I have issued a public statement out there apologizing. But I'm still going to preach what I'm going to preach. I'm still going to preach what I believe. And that is, I believe in moves and counter moves. I believe that we need to be out there red pilling people. I believe that we need to be out there digging and doing dig shows like this and going through the information and not just talking about how everything's fake and stuff like that, because in reality, you really need to think about that. If you think it's a movie, that's great, okay? But the fact of the matter is the mission post 4509. The mission doesn't say let's just sit around and watch podcasts all day and tune into the next podcast to see who else is fake. It doesn't say that, guys. It really doesn't. I'm coming from a place of concern about the movement, okay? I wrote an article about it. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's on my X feed. I care about this movement. I care a lot about this movement. And when everybody was saying, "Oh, it's just another faked assassination," I kind of lost it. I'm human just like you are. Sometimes my emotions get away from me, and just like everybody else, I tend to stay calm in these kind of things, but it just seems like when somebody an attempted assassination, or somebody actually does die, and then everybody's saying, "Well, it's fake," I mean, guys, that really doesn't do any good for the movement. It really doesn't. I mean, we're not bringing any new people into the movement to fight against all this by saying everything's fake. I mean, we just don't. It makes you look crazy to the unawake. I keep going back to it. Post 4509. It's very clear what the mission states. You got to examine yourself and say, why am I even in this movement? Is it for entertainment purposes? Is it because you're trying to wake people up? Is it because you're trying to get everybody out of this satanic cabal that's getting everybody aware to it? Or is it to just sit back and eat popcorn and say, that's fake? Yeah, that's fake. Let's sit around and talk about it. I just caution you, if you do believe it's a big movie, that's good. Okay, that's fine. But let's also put in a little bit of work of what Q told us to do too, and what President Trump needs us to do. President Trump needs us more than anything right now. He needs us staying on signal right now. He needs us out there pushing to get the mainstream narrative. That's what he needs us to do, guys. He needs us pushing against all this garbage out there. If we're sitting around watching shows and stuff about everything's fake and stuff like that, why even bother? And let's just kind of sit around and kick around who's wearing a mask and who's not, and blah 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 blah. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, guys. We can do that kind of stuff. I mean, that's what chat rooms are for. That's what back channels are for. That's what for us to sit around the campfire and tell the good stories, and to kind of kick it with each other and kind of relax a little bit, and kind of throwing kind of stuff at the wall and theorizing about stuff. The guys, that's all fun. I mean, that's fun stuff. Okay. What you don't want to get into the trap of doing is always doing the fun stuff. Because this is a movement and we do need you. We don't need to be playing around all the time with all this information and just being so haphazardly about everything and throwing out, well, it was staged. It was another stage thing. Oh well, I'm just going to keep sitting here and trying to wait on this movie to end. Guys, you've been put into a silo and you don't even realize it. You've been put into this cage, and you don't even realize where you're sitting at right now. You think you're on X, talking to this huge audience. This is the way it is, guys. Let me just draw it out here for you, okay? This is X, okay? This big circle is X, all right? Here's the anon community, in my opinion, of this circle, okay? Now, here's the fake and gay part of it. So while you're in here always talking about things, you're never going to reach these people right here. Okay? You're going to be stuck right here. And if you're one of these people that you watch my shows all the time and we dig and stuff like that, but if you don't ever do anything about it, you're going to stay right here. Okay? You're never going to get out here. This is the battlefield, guys. This is where we're supposed to be. We're not supposed to be down here. Okay? We're not supposed to live in here. We're supposed to be in here. Okay? That's part of sharing information. Okay? But we're supposed to go out here, too. That's the mission. If you're not out here, we're not winning. If you're out here, right here, you're being lazy. You're not doing anything for us. It's good to be right here. Sometimes it's good to kick it with all the homies. It's good to sit around the campfire right here. It's fun. I love to do it too. On the Discord chat, they kick it. They kick it around all the time. But what they do is they do go here and research, and then they go out into the world and tell everybody about it. That's the difference. So when I say you've been in a silo and you've been kind of corralled into this one place, you need to really think about that. And I challenge you to think about this. What am I doing for the movement? How is what I'm saying out there on the digital battlefield making a difference? Is my sister getting red pilled for what's fixing to come down the pike? Is my mom and dad, God rest their souls, my mom and dad both died before this movement started, because my mom was a diehard Rush Limbaugh fan. You all know that. I think she would have had a field day with this stuff. But again, I challenge you. What am I doing for the movement? What am I doing for my country? We all can't get out on the streets. I know that. And we all can't be election overseers and things like that. Let's just face the facts. We all don't have time to do stuff like that. And if you are doing that, kudos to you. We have got to have boots on the ground. Most definitely, because we've got to be able to affect change at a local level. LT, I was talking to LT one time for Man We Know, and this analogy is so great. Everybody wants to believe in full control and everything is all scripted out already. We're just kind of watching everything play out. Okay. There's this little thing that God created, and it's called free will, ladies and gentlemen. Things change. Plans change. The plan is fluid. I just challenge you. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Because right now, your country needs you. If we need a break, we can go right here sometimes. It's okay to be right here. And it's great to be right here too, with your fellow Anons from all over X. That's how we spread information to everybody. That's how we bridge and linking. It's part of the mission, okay? Part of it. But the mission is right here in delivering your message without looking crazy, using facts and counter questions to engage thought. So that's why I get a little heated. I do get a little heated, guys. I'm normal. I'm a guy. I'm full of testosterone. Maybe not so much that I'm approaching 50, but I tend to think about things a little bit more now. And sometimes my mouth gets ahead of me sometimes. And so if I have offended you in any way this weekend, I truly am sorry. I truly am. But I still stand firm in my convictions, though. But I do realize that we need everybody. And I'm not going to convince you that this is not one big movie or whatever. That if that's what you believe, good. That's fine. That means you're probably more calm than any of us. Okay? But what are you doing for the movement? Thank you, Pixie Mama. She said, I pray for you, Josh. Thank you. Tracy and I need all the prayers we can get. we must definitely do. I want to go through the chat real quick. Jack says, I'm concerned about the midterms, to be honest. There will be a time when we can get popcorn, but it's not now, in my opinion. I agree with you, Jack, over on X. I agree with that assessment. Here's what I think. Let's talk election before we start going into Uranium 1 and all this other stuff. In 2014, 15-ish, we know from the drops that Trump was approached to run in this election with help from the military. Okay? All right. He won. He had to work at it, but he won. But the drop also says, was he provided assurances of a victory? So you ask yourself, how did he win? Did we have access to the voting systems? They didn't have mail-in ballots back in 2016. You remember that, okay? That hadn't come to be in play yet. He overcame the system. Something happened that night on November 5th, 2015, that allowed him to win that election. The military is the only way. Think Palantir, think. Satellites. Who has control of the satellites? Who are the wizards and warlocks? Now, fast forward to 2020. Could we have stopped 2020? Absolutely. Absolutely, we could have. But it had to be this way. We weren't ready in 2019, in 2020, and even 2021 to look at everything. So many were still asleep. So many. We had to walk through the darkness to see the light. 2020 and Joe Biden was the biggest red pill there ever could have been in this earth. Did Trump release COVID? No. Did Trump prevent us from getting locked down with the release of the vaccines? Although not perfect, yes. He had to do something. Moves and counter moves. If he hadn't had released the vaccine, we would have still been locked down to this day or dead. That was the plan, to get us on universal income, stay at home, people getting so depressed, they kill themselves or whatever. You didn't want to comply, you were going to a camp, my friends. You were going to go to a FEMA camp for either re-education or death. So what did he do? He picked the lesser of the two evils. Q even says, we control a lot, but not everything is under control. And I know Q contradicts itself a lot, but you've got to go back and look at the context about what was happening at the time. You can't just read these drops and say, oh, that's what that says, full control, blah, 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 blah. No. That's not the way it went down back then. So again, and I want to say this too. If your favorite podcaster or whoever that you feel trusted with, and you're like, yeah, what they say really resonates with me, I really like their messaging, but if they're not talking about that right there, that God is in control, and they're not reading from the Holy Bible, or doing something to win you to the Lord, ask them why. Just ask them in the chat why. Why don't we talk about God more? I mean, that's the cornerstone of our movement, people. Without God, there is no plan. Without God, there is certain doom. Without Jesus Christ coming down and dying for all of our sins, what are we even doing? I mean, I'm just being for real here. I know I'm being harsh right now. I'm not trying to hammer you over the head with this stuff. I swear, I'm not. I'm just telling you what I believe and what my discernment tells me. Been doing this for a long time. Not getting paid for it either. So, ask yourself, what am I doing for my country? And what am I doing for the Lord? Those are the two most important things right now. And we have people in Truther Media like Seth. I see him in the chat there. He gears himself more towards the Lord, and that is great. We need more people like that. All of us in Truth or Media know Jesus Christ as their Savior. Every single one of us. Every single one of us has been baptized. Every single one of us lives for the Lord. There's no disputing that whatsoever. If you didn't know that DC Lidstone, myself, and Steve, Real AF Patriot, we all got baptized together. I got rebaptized, okay? I rededicated my life back to Christ, so I got rebaptized. So I'm just saying, guys, and even in biblical stuff, it's fun to be here. Okay? It's fun to live in this little silo right here sometimes. It's comfortable here. We kick it and have a good time. It's fun to live right here too, because we're spreading, information to each other and talking about this. Is that we're going to live here for the next hour. Okay? This is where we're going to live because we're getting information together. Okay? But we have to take that information and go to the general public with it. And you can't look crazy when you do it. If you're telling everybody you're just watching one big show and blah, 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 I ain't doing nothing, guys. They're just going to be like, what is this guy talking about? It's crazy. Q told us that. Q told us sometimes you have to remove Q to red pill. Guys, I'm a Q guy. Look, right there. Up there. I get it. I get it. I get it. Okay? Understood. This war is about moves and counter moves. This war is very real. Q tells us as much. It is very real. Q also says that we have full control. Patriots in control. This is what that means. When you have all the information, information is power. Remember that. Information is power. You can do so much with information. Think of it like this. You're sitting down at a chessboard and you're looking across the chessboard. Say I'm a deep state player and I'm looking at you and you're Trump. Okay? Trump is a master chess player. And I come in thinking I'm pretty good, sit down across from him. I make my first move. He makes his. I make mine. We're about 6-7 moves into it. He can already tell my thought processes and patterns. He can already tell what I'm fixing to do. The game at that point for a master chess player is already over, because Trump can release certain tidbits of information at critical times to make them make disastrous counter moves. That's what 5D chess is, folks. Trump sees the board. He sees 10, 15, 20 moves down the way of what they're going to do and what he's going to do. That is moves and counter moves. That is full control. When you have all the information, information is power, and you got full control over the battlefield. That's why Q said that it was over before it started. When we gained access and Trump came into office and he had it all, they lost the one most important piece of this government when Trump won, and that was the U.S. military. When does U.S. military intelligence trump ABCs? When you're at war. What has Trump told you over and over and over and over? I am a wartime president. That's what he told you. I keep telling y'all to listen to him when he talks. You know, everybody thinks all this kayfabe is going on between all these influencers. Let me tell you something, guys. Q told us this was coming a long time ago. Once pro-MAGA will turn against Trump. So let me ask you a question now. Now that you know that, and we were told this was going to happen around election time, what are we fixing to go into? The midterm elections. All assets have been activated. Are you seeing it yet? The people we learned to trust the most, Tucker Carlson. I never trusted her, but Candace Owens. You know, all these people out there that's telling you truth, some, they got you hooked. They got me hooked. Tucker had me hooked. I'm not afraid to admit it, folks. But when you go back and look at Tucker's background, it's not so good. But again, they got you hooked. And now that we're coming into these midterm elections and we're coming in critical times in our movement, what's happening? Just as predicted, they're turning against Trump. They're turning against MAGA. They were once pro-MAGA. Most of them are part of the AJ network. We are already told what AJ was. He's a complete shill. But, you know, there's people in this chat. Oh, AJ's good. He tells truth all the time. Yuck, 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 yuck. Are you seeing it yet? I was able to discern that for two reasons. Two reasons. Number one, the Holy Spirit. Number two, the drops. They've not been wrong yet, guys. But it's people's interpretation of them. And you taking people's word for it is what gets you in trouble. That's why I keep telling you, just like Seth keeps telling you, just like Tracy keeps telling you, you've got to go read the Bible. Because guess what? If you don't go read the Bible, you're going to get that knock on the door one day, and it's going to be like, hi, I'm with Jehovah's Witnesses and blah, 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 blah. Can I have 5 minutes of your time? I would love to go over some stuff with you. And then you invite them into your home, and you listen to their spiel. And they are the masters. And I'm sorry if anybody's a Jehovah's Witness that is watching right now, but you're wrong. I'm not afraid to say it either. You're wrong. Anyways, they're the master manipulators of the Word of God. So if you haven't read and discerned for yourself the Holy Bible, you will be fooled. You will be fooled. And you will, because of your own ignorance, and when I say ignorance, that's not stupidity, okay? Ignorance is not knowing something, okay? Because of your own ignorance, you have fallen to Satan. Same thing with the Q drops. Trump Country USA, thank you for the subscription. And Trump Country USA also donated $20. I am new, but I love your biblical connections. They matter. Absolutely, they matter. That's why we do this. The Q-op is secondary. This is coming from a Q guy. From a Q guy right here. So if you're not in the drops, you're not looking up the context of what happened, because you can go back to the Chans, you can go back to the Kuhns and look. Okay? That's why it's still there. You can see what was being discussed and what was going on and what this person was saying, what that person was saying, what Q was responding to. You can see all of that. But if you don't do that, when you come in and, let's see what my favorite podcaster is going to say today. I'm so excited. Let's throw him a $50 Rumble rant. He knows what he's talking about. How do you know he knows what he's talking about? How do you know what she's talking about? Because it sound good? Because they sound convincing? Because they sound like they know what they're talking about? Well, guys, there's a lot of car salesmen out there too that sound like they know what they're talking about. But then you get home and then your car won't start the next day. My point to it is, you can't be passive, because in my article I wrote, you went from watching General Hospital, a soap opera, to another soap opera and just soaking it all in and not discerning for yourself and not looking and researching for yourself. So you just kind of take everybody's word for it. What happens when you get in with the wrong crowd? Happens in real life all the time. Do you not think that's going to happen on the digital battlefield too? I guess I'm off my rant now. Yeah, Cindy, I am fired up, but I'm trying to come at it from a very calm point of view and a very rational point of view. Because Tracy's not here to keep me grounded right now. She's out with our son right now doing some stuff. So, she's the one that always kind of reels me back a little bit. So I'm trying to be measured in what I'm saying. Yeah, Thumper Rose, we are at war. You have to know. Man, I wish I could put this up on the screen. Thumper Rose on pril.net says you have to know the information to judge others' information. Mic drop. You have to know what the Bible says in order to judge what your pastor is saying to you. Don't just think they call themselves a man of God. Don't think they know exactly what they're talking about or who they're really working for. And when I say that, are the Jehovah's Witnesses really working for God? I don't think so. And, we could say that about other places and other people and other religions and all of that. If you don't know what the Torah says, I mean, Judaism looks pretty good from the outside. If you haven't even read the New Testament, I wouldn't play with something like my soul, my eternal soul. I wouldn't play with that. Yeah, Seth, many preachers, pastors have been corrupted. And you know what? And here's the thing is, they don't even know it. They don't even know it, guys. Because they went to seminary and they had somebody teach them. Just like Rush Limbaugh used to say, you just open up a little kid's brain, open it up, and it's a brain full of mush. And they pour in whatever they wanted to pour in and then close it up, and then you got a good little soldier there. Yep, that's what it is. That's the way it is. Social injustice and yak, and everybody's racist. That's where all that stuff come from, guys. It started in our school systems. It started when I was going to school back in the day. Ask your favorite podcaster if they can do a show by themselves. Have you ever noticed that some of these people always have to do a show with somebody else in the background? Ever notice that? No matter what show they're on, they've got a panel of at least 2 or 3. Okay? They got somebody to go back and forth with, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, if you can't even do a podcast by yourself, you don't know the information. And then you're sitting there listening to them about what they think. That's like having a church service and there being a guest pastor there and them talking between each other. Saying, yup, that's right, yup. There's no counterpoints or anything. All they do is it's a big circle jerk. I know we have a round table, but damn, we say what's on our minds, though. Nobody in Truth or Media is told what to say. There's some of us that believe that half of this stuff is fake. And I get it. I understand. Yeah, look at the Biden presidency. Oh my God, we could do hours and hours show about that. Guys, I know I'm not stupid. Okay? I get it. I understand. 2020 through 2024, biggest sham in history. Get it. Understood. Okay? We had to have some kind of control during that time to be able to make it through it and not get into World War III. I understand that. I'm not saying there's nothing fake out there. But what I'm saying is, and guys, I promise you I will get to where I'm going, okay, in just a second. But where we get in trouble is we live right here all the time. There's a real world out there, people, other than what you see on this phone right here, okay? There's a real world, and there's real family that need you. There's real people that are scared right now of what's going on. And you want to tell them everything's just a big, complete show. What are you doing? You need to be the light at the end of the tunnel. You need to be able to explain what Trump is doing to people. You need to be able to explain history on what happened to him, because it's all coming full circle right now, guys. Every single bit of this, it's coming full circle right now as we speak. And if you don't know the information, you can't red pill people. And when I say red pill, I just mean wake them up. Hey, this is what's really going on, guys. These people are really not your friends. They talk a big game over here, the left and everything like that. And they say they for you. They say social injustice and all that. But they're really satanic. And they really do worship the devil. And they really do sacrifice kids. And here's how they do it. And here's what they do. Here's the child trafficking lanes. Here's what Hillary Clinton did back in the day. Here's how they tried to smear Trump. Here's how they tried to keep Trump out of the presidency in 2024. Kilburn, we're fixing to go. I have gone on a 49-minute and 30-second rant. Not really a rant. I'm just kind of speaking truth to you guys. Because I love y'all. I don't want you to be misled. And I don't want you to just take a back seat and go back to row F or Z back there and getting you tub of popcorn and your Snickers bar and your Coke and just sitting down and going, yep, big show. I'm just here for the show. I'm here for the popcorn. Blah, 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 blah. I want you to make a difference. I want you to be able to wake up some of the most difficult people there is to wake up, and that's your family. I want you to be able to go out and you're having a conversation with somebody, and somebody does start asking you questions about what's going on. And I want you to be able to talk sensible to them about it. That's what I want. Whether you come back on Thursdays at 8 and watch Tracing Justice, I mean, I want you there. I want to be able to provide good information to you, but I want you to be able to take this information and go do your thing with it. That's why I do it. Okay. I would love to be able to do this for a living and this to be my only job. I'm hoping, because I think that Tracy and I do a pretty good job of it. And I feel like that we could do more if we could. But right now, we ain't there. I can't do it. I can't afford it. I just can't. So I get up every day. I go to my job. I talk to people out on the street too. Just, I don't talk to just people on X. I had a conversation in a shop today that I went into, about what was going on. That they were talking about the Trump assassination and things like that. And, why did they do this? It was a narrative change by the deep state. That's what I believe. You go out there, and here's the thing is, you go out there, and let's say I did believe that this was a staged event. And I go out there and say, yeah, it was all staged. Don't worry about that. Then they're going to be like, the unawake are going to be like, why would Trump do that? Is he a liar? Is he trying to fool us? Can we not trust Trump? Be careful what you're saying out there. You never know who's listening. Because when you do that, you've inadvertently casted doubt on that man right there. And you don't even realize it. You've got to be careful what message you're spreading out there, folks. The CIA was all over the Chans. And what I mean by CIA, I don't mean people sitting at the CIA headquarters in suits and ties on a computer. No. It's citizens that they recruited and they paid off to get on these Chans and inject false information and inject false narratives. The Q drops even talk about this. What? Mueller, a white hat? We have anons out there to this day telling you that Robert Mueller was a white hat. Q said, Mueller, white hat, false, fake narrative. People to this day in this movement say that. What? You shouldn't have to do mental gymnastics to red pill people. It was a simple process back in the day, and it still should be a simple process today. Disseminating facts and relevant D-class information, which we're getting today, which we're fixing to go over, to the American people. When you have to do mental gymnastics to get to your narrative that you want to push, it's probably not right narrative. Just saying. I mean, I get it. We got to avoid, Q has to avoid national security laws and all that. But I don't think that it takes a mathematician to be able to decode some of this stuff. And while I'm on the subject, let's talk about decoding. You're talking to a decoder, okay? Been doing it for a good minute. Why do we decode? Why? Ask why. Why do we decode? Why did Q want us decoding? I mean, we were on the Chans, we weren't decoding. We weren't doing timestamp matches and things like that a lot. That stuff was just kind of done as what we call a zero delta or a 10-minute delta or something like that. That was to validate Q. Okay. What we were doing, we were answering the questions that Q put in front of us. We were doing the research about the Illuminati and about the chair and about the crown and about adrenochrome and the child trafficking. We were doing all of that. You know what? Let me see if I can get something pulled up. I really, really, really want to play this for you guys because this is a real event. If you hadn't read my article, this is a real event that happened. Okay, let me see if I can find this joker. Give me just 1 second, guys. Man, I need to find it. I don't have my article pinned anymore, so I'd have to go back through my feed. Here it is, guys. So let's watch this. And before I go into it, this is what happened when Shia LaBeouf rubbed it in our faces that he put up this flag. He's an anti-Trump person, big time. And he's like, I'm gonna fly this flag, and you people are never gonna find it. And I'm keeping a live stream up of this flag to rub it in your all's faces every day. Well, here's what happened, folks. Let's watch this.
Has changed. It's an endless series of proxy battles fought by mercenaries and machines. Nanomachines inside their bodies enhance and regulate their ability.
After defeat on the battlefields of New York and New Mexico, Shia headed to a new hidden location. No more chanting or interaction. This latest exhibit would just be a flag waving arrogantly in front of a camera. There were no landmarks, no scenery, no clues at all.
He was talking about
it
Trump.
Would be impossible to find, and nothing could stop the broadcast. Checkmate. And this would allow Shia to act smug for the next 4 to 8 years. That is, unless Pol's agents could find a way to track it down. Challenge accepted. It was to be the greatest game of capture the flag ever. Pol began organizing. They set about gathering all the information they could on the local environment, trying to match up cloud, wind patterns, and ambient noise. Because it was a live stream, they could match the time of sunset to quickly discern that the flag was somewhere in the Eastern time zone. That's 2/3 of the country ruled out in one move. Others began looking into intel about Shia's whereabouts, as it was highly likely that he was present for the raising of the flag itself. As time went on, distinct noises could be heard in the background, the croaking of frogs, suggesting water nearby. Then, the second big break. In the distance, just faintly, 2 jet streams. Pol quickly opened a live feed of all of the air traffic across the eastern seaboard, but identifying these 2 lines, amongst all of this, would be a challenge. Meanwhile, social media trackers found this post. At a small town diner in Tennessee, this waitress couldn't help but brag about her run-in with Shia. It was another big break. TMZ also reported that Shia had been seen fly fishing in the area. The search was closing in on Greenville, Tennessee. The hunt was moving much faster now. According to the aviation team, 2 more planes would soon be flying overhead. If they could be spotted on the live stream, Pol would have confirmation. Bingo. To further narrow down the search area, the aviation team started charting all of the flight paths of spotted planes. But they still needed more information, and as day turned to night, they got it. Pol's astronomy division used the constellations to narrow down the angle and rough position of the camera. With this, the flight paths, and some advanced trigonometry, the candidate area had been reduced way down. Further confirmation from weather satellites backed up the claim as an agent was dispatched to the scene. As he started honking the horn, while viewers of the live stream gave feedback as it got louder. A few minutes later, target sighted. But he couldn't just head in during broad daylight and risk Shire's wrath. Instead, he had to wait for the cloak of night. In the meanwhile, Pol got to work devising an infiltration strategy. A few hours later, the flag came down, and a MAGA hat and shirt went up. It was a beautiful moment, and it all took place on the live stream. Pol's Central Intelligence Agency had clocked Windu Season 3 in 38 hours and 14 minutes, and poor Shire was divided for a third time. Could he ever recover? Could this be the end? Well, as I was
That's the kind of stuff that went on back on the chans when Q was posting. We were doing stuff like that, answering the call, answering the questions, disseminating the information, trying to get it out to the public in our own way. That's what the movement's about. I mean, take it for however you want to do it, but do something. Bradley on Facebook, I certainly will. We can't, he said, yes, bro, do more here live. So Facebook and YouTube are really, really sensitive about copyrighted information. So we can do tracing justice here, but we can't do our fellowship in the word here because we do play some sermons and things like that. And they'll kind of strike us down for that. But for anything kind of like Q related or movement related, we will be streaming to Facebook as well as YouTube. So guys, that's what you need to do. You know, again, don't always live here. Spend about 15-20% of your time here. Spend about another 30% of your time here. Spend some time here. Spend some time out in the real world disseminating information. Use the time that you need to collect your information and learn. And then when you want to kick it with everybody just throwing crap, at the wall and saying, oh yeah, did you see this? Did you see that? Do you think he's a reptilian or whatever you want to talk? That's good. I mean, that's good, guys. See, you want to talk about that kind of stuff, talk about it there. Don't live there though. Because that's what's happening is like people from here have migrated to here and they want to live here all the time because it's fun. It's entertaining. It's cool. I don't have to do nothing here. I can kind of kick back and relax and get on a Zoom call and talk about how everything's fake and gay and blah, 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 blah. I mean, you people are giving these people money. That's what's funny to me is like, y'all giving these people money to sit around and talk about stuff that don't matter. Again, you've went from watching one movie to another form of entertainment. And you don't want to put in the work. You don't even want to read the drops. You don't even want to read the Bible. Are you seeing what I'm saying? Let's get into some information. I'm done with this. Let's get into some information. You all got my point. You got my drift. You know what we got to do. Yes, Rhea, rise above the noise because movies don't matter. That's exactly right, Seth. Movies don't matter. That should be on a shirt. Trump Country USA, it says, I donate to everyone who's trying to figure things out. I get it. I'm not out there asking for your money. I'm just saying, look at what information you're really getting. Is it really helping you understand the movement better? Is it giving you relevant facts and information that you can use to put out to your Oh, Bradley, it's Irish Patriot over on Facebook. Welcome, my friend. Thank you so much. Um, yeah, so what you're getting from these people, is it good information that you can actually go share with like your uncle or things like that? Um, we can have fun shows. We did an Ingersoll Lockwood dig the other day, but it is relevant information though that we were talking about. You know, it was good stuff. It was very good stuff. We're talking about how everything goes back to the crown. Guys, if you think Israel is the end all and be all of everything, you ain't going deep enough. I hate to tell you that Israel is. I used to think. Yep, Israel's the head of the snake. Nope, it's not. Guess what? They're in the United States right now at the White House. That's the head of the snake. London is the head of the snake. The chair is the head of the snake. They all serve the chair. Islamist, the nation state of Israel, Cuba, used to be Venezuela. They all serve the crown. It all goes back to London. It all goes back to Britain. Every single bit of it. The Fed goes back to Britain. The chair is the crown. I know we all want to talk about Israel all the time. Israel is just like Iran. Iran is a deep state hub. Iran is getting taken out right now. Iran is being taken off of the chessboard right now as we speak. They are taking away the crown's ability to manipulate the price of oil. We're also going to be going into here in just a little bit about uranium. Yeah, Cardia says the snake wears a crown. Absolutely. Absolutely. Why do you think that we fled? Where do you think we came from? Why do you think we fought for independence? Against who? Who? And they slithered their way right back into this country. For the dead of night. Yeah, Denise 15 says the crown just arrived today, here 4 days. Yep, that's right. When was the last time they've been here? Oh yeah, George Bush. That's right. 2009 or 7 was the last time that they visited. Get some good information, people. Get into the Bible. Read it. Understand it. Read it again. Get into the drops. It's the map. It's your playbook. It's the playbook, guys. God gave us 2 playbooks. 2 playbooks. The most important, the Bible. And I know you guys can't see that, but that's my Bible standing up right there on that shelf. Okay? Read it. Listen to it. Even listen to it. You can listen to it. There's ways you can listen to the Bible. Do it. Get in the car. That's what I do. I listen to the Bible. I was listening to it today. And then when you're not in the Bible, go over to this little place called QAGG.news. Start from the first. You don't understand something? There's a little button you can push that'll take you straight to the chans and give you the backstory about everything that was going on at the time. Get familiar with them. It's the playbook, guys. How do you think that we can call all this stuff all the time of what's going down and what's happening and news unlocking this map and this is coming? I keep telling you, we kept telling you over and over, Iran was coming. Iran was coming. Iran's in the drops like 50 something times. It's because Iran is central to what was going on. And Q tried to tell us that. The playbook's sitting right in front of you. You want to know what play the quarterback's fixing to run? Just pick up the damn thing and read it. We're not prophets, guys. Q wasn't a prophet. Q had all the information. Trump has all the information. Trump is not a prophet. Trump is not a time traveler. When you have all the information, you can make certain moves to make counter moves to get your desired outcome. Even the drop says, a time traveler or ... He ain't no time traveler. He's smart as hell, but he ain't no time traveler. He knows the art of the deal. He knows he's a master chess player. And when you give a master chess player the playbook, say, here's the plan. We need you to execute this plan. It's been planned out perfectly, and here's all the information that you need to have right here. Okay, this is this person, this is this person, this is this person. From military intel, this is what we've got here, blah, 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 blah. Oh, and by the way, we got this little thing called Palantir that sees everything. There ain't no way you can lose. You don't have to be a time traveler when you've got all of that information. The New England Patriots, they spied on the other team for years. How do you think Tom Brady was so good, folks? How do you think Bill Belichick was so good? They had the dang playbook. It's not some big movie. I mean, yeah, you could say this is a script. I mean, information, a script, or whatever. I mean, if that's what you want to call it. I probably lost a lot of people. I don't even know how many we got, like almost 1,000 watching, but I've actually got 74 people on Rumble listening to me ramble. So, all right, guys, let's go on to some information. You get it. You get it. I understand. You got it now. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch a video on Uranium 1 scandal and kind of understanding Uranium 1. If you don't know about it, this occurred when Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State, okay, back during Obama's term. And basically what happened is that Hillary Clinton wanted to sell a percentage of our uranium overseas. So let me get this video file pulled up. All right. So here we go, and let's listen in.
And sometimes ask questions about Uranium 1. The Attorney General Jeff Sessions says he needs a factual basis to appoint a special counsel to investigate Hillary Clinton. One has not yet been appointed, though Attorney General Sessions says he has asked federal prosecutors to evaluate issues presented by House Republicans, including Uranium 1. Here's the exchange between Jeff Sessions and the Republican Congressman Jim Jordan of Ohio.
What's it going to take to actually get a special counsel?
We will use the proper standards, and that's what only thing I can tell you, Mr. Jordan.
Well, I appreciate
you can
that,
have your idea, but sometime we have to study what the facts are and to evaluate whether it meets the standard.
Well said. So let me ask you this. If in fact,
a special counsel.
So what are the facts? What is Uranium 1? Uranium 1 is the name of a South Africa-based mining company. Back in 2007, it merged with Eurasia Energy, based in Canada. And in 2010, the mining arm of the Russian nuclear agency, Rosatom, bought controlling interest in the company. Among other places, that mining company had operations in Wyoming that amounted to what the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, or the NRC, said was at the time about 20% of uranium production capacity in the U.S. Today, the NRC says it's about 10%. Now, here's the accusation. 9 people involved in the deal made donations to the Clinton Foundation totaling more than $140 million. In exchange, Secretary of State Clinton approved the sale to the Russians, a quid pro quo. The accusation first made by Peter Schweitzer, the senior editor-at-large of the website Breitbart, in his 2015 book, Clinton Cash. The next year, candidate Donald Trump cited the accusation as an example of Clinton corruption.
Hillary Clinton's State Department approved the transfer of 20% of America's uranium holdings to Russia, while 9 investors in the deal funneled $145 million to the Clinton Foundation.
That statement.
Did you just hear that? She used her position in the State Department to funnel $145 million back to the Clinton Foundation. That is pay to play, folks. It's important you understand this because it's happening in real time. It's all finally coming out right now, and we're fixing to go over these documents.
Is inaccurate in a number of ways. First, the Clinton State Department had no power to veto or approve that transaction. It could do neither. Here's how it does work. By law, when a foreign company wants to buy anything with potential national security implications, an interagency committee of the federal government must approve it. The committee was given a broad mandate under President Reagan to advise the president on foreign investment transactions. That committee is called CIFUS, or the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States. It includes 9 department heads. The Secretary of the Treasury is the chairperson. The rest are the heads of the Departments of Justice, Homeland Security, Commerce, Defense, State, and Energy, plus the Office of the U.S. Trade Representative and the Office of Science and Technology Policy. That
all deep state operatives under Obama, every single one of them.
CIFUS. The 9 department heads all approved the sale of Uranium One. It was unanimous, not a Hillary Clinton approval. We don't know definitively.
But what you have to remember is the Clinton Foundation still made $145 million off of this deal. Were there kickbacks to these other heads that had a vote in this? That's what we're going to be exploring later.
Whether Secretary Clinton participated at all directly, the then Secretary of State, I should say Assistant Secretary of State Jose Fernando, represented state on CIFUS. He says she did not, reporting that the secretary never intervened. Further, neither Secretary Clinton nor the committee as a whole could stop any deal of this kind. The committee members evaluate a sale of anything potentially related to national security. By law, if one member objects, the president, and only the president, can veto such a transaction. No committee member of the 9 objected. Federal approvals were also needed. The Nuclear Regulatory Commission approved the sale on November the 24th of 2010, and in doing so stipulated that no uranium produced may be exported. So where does the uranium go? Well, the Energy Information Administration, or EIA, reports that unless special permission is granted by the Department of Energy or other governmental agencies, Uranium One sells the uranium that it mines in the United States to civilian power reactors in the United States. But operators of those reactors have many other sources for their uranium. Last year, 89% of uranium used by power plants in the U.S. came from foreign producers, according to the EIA. Regarding the donations to the Clinton Foundation, again, the accusation is that Hillary Clinton's State Department approved the transfer of 20% of Americans' uranium holdings to Russia, while 9 investors in the deal funneled $145 million to the Clinton Foundation. Here, the timing is inaccurate. Most of those donations were from one man, Frank Guestra.
You got to remember, Fox News, even back then, were in the tank for Hillary Clinton. You just didn't realize it back then. So that's why he's kind of saying, well, you know, blah, 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 this, you know, that's why he's not really backing up on what Trump's saying, okay? Fox News, if you did not know this, guess where they trace back to? The British Crown. Got to remember that, people. The Murdochs are not good people.
The founder of the company in Canada. He gave $131 million.
Rob, yes. Rob, Bobby Chuck 2000 said, it's why that the dust buried in Iran is so important. We're going to get to that.
$1 million to the Clinton Foundation. But Guestra says he sold his stake in the company back in 2007. That's 3 years before the uranium-Russia deal and a year and a half before Hillary Clinton became Secretary of State. We can't independently verify his statement. But if true, the donation to the Clinton Foundation from confirmed Uranium One investors drops from more than $145 million to $4 million. The Clinton Foundation did not disclose those donations. After a New York Times story exposed them, the foundation reported it made mistakes. saying it had disclosed donations from a Canadian charity, but did not specify the names of the donors to that charity who had associations with the uranium company. Even so, the accusation is predicated on the charge that Secretary Clinton approved the sale. She did.
So you get the picture, okay? Now I want you to think back, 2016 January. I think it was January 19th, 2016. One day before, I believe, no, I'm sorry, it was January 20th, 2016. The day of the inauguration, Barack Obama is caught trying to fly pallets of cash over to Iran. Repayment for what? What did you just hear? $145 million went to the Clinton Foundation. They never thought she would lose. But here we are. And now we're going through the whole spider web right now that what is called Uranium One scandal. I have always told you that when you start seeing Uranium One come back into focus, we're getting near the end. And I want to address Steampunk President said, I remember you saying that you thought the operation ends in May, about 7 months back. You weren't kidding. Mid-May, the EBS has to be the window. Okay, I have adjusted, and this is just me talking, okay? This is my theories, and I'm basing it off what I've seen and what's still yet to be revealed as far as what the Q drops say, okay? I do not believe that this is going to be wrapped up before July 4th of this year. And the reason I say that is because there's still too much disclosure to go through. There's still too much happening. And we have to have all of this disclosure before we start prosecutions. And the reason that you do that, here's the long skinny of it, of why you haven't seen any arrest yet. If we're getting all this information disclosed to the public, little by little by little by little by little, okay, you have to think you'll never be able to get an untainted jury in a court of law. So why is the Trump administration having to disclose everything to the public before we start seeing arrest? So you say, Justice, you're telling me that you're not going to see these arrests go through a normal court system. Q said, when do optics no longer matter? The military is the only way. So, the reason I say that is because the only reason that you would want to get the public educated on what's fixing to happen is if the public is not involved in the process anymore. Are you getting what I'm putting down? So when it finally does start happening, and you see indictments come down from JAG or from the military tribunal courts, there's going to be people freaking out, people. Trump can't make moves until the public is educated about what's going on. These are not going to be tried in regular courts. When does military intelligence have jurisdiction over ABCs, which is the FBI, CIA, NSA, blah, 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 blah? What has Trump told you? I'm a wartime president. Wartime presidents have special powers, people. Are you getting what Justice is putting down? That's why you're being educated. That's why the QOP came down. That is the purpose of the QOP. It's not to tell you everything is fake. It's to educate the public for what's coming. storm. What's the storm? Q told us what the storm was. We don't have to guess at it. Q told us the storm was D-class. What is D-class? All this information, the flood of information. Drip, 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 drip becomes a flood. Are you putting it all together now? Are you seeing what's going on now? Are you seeing why your role is so important in all of this? Are you seeing why you can't live here? You can't live here, folks. We ain't never going to get to the end if you're living here all the time. That's why you got to get out here. You said you're going to be the calm in the storm. The calm in the storm is to be the educators about what is going on and what happened and what will happen and how it's going to happen. The military is the only way. Who was standing behind Donald Trump in 2016 inaugural address? Military intelligence. JAG. Military judicial. Never happened before. Ever. I'm giving you the 40,000 foot view right here, folks. That's what's going to happen. And that's why you have to be involved. You have to know that. You have to know this. To get it, to hear, to be the calm in the storm. That's what the mission is. If you don't know what the mission is and you're joining us for the first time, let me show you what the mission is. This is why we do what we do, people. You have been selected to help serve your country. Never retreat from the battlefield. Okay? Never retreat from the battlefield. Use other platforms as a form of centralized command and control. That's here, people. That's right here. This is where command and control is. Okay? Truth Social, even X, back channels, whatever you want to call it. Even here, guys, even here. It's within here. All right? Organize and connect. Bridge through linking. It's this area right here, guys. Source memes material from the battlefield, X, and or garage, Truth Social, whatever you want to call it. Highlight and share, take and drop. Mission number 1. Dispute, reject, propaganda push through the posting of research and facts. That's what we're fixing to do here in just a little bit. We're going to learn about Uranium 1 and what the Senate Judiciary Committee found out about it. It was just released today. Mission 2. Support a role of other digital soldiers. One falls, another stands, rises. What do you think Marnie does every day? Without fail. She doesn't know the drops like I do. But you know what she can do? She can spread information like wildfire and she can understand it. She helps me on my Facebook every day to get information out to the battlefield. She is the epitome of Mission 2. Yes, Marnie, you're on mission. And that's Spammer Girl Q, by the way, I'm talking about. Mission 3. Guide, awaken others through the use of FACTS, facts, D-class 1 through 99 material, and other relevant facts and memes. Think Canine Andrea. She's all over the memes every day, and they're very effective. Decouple MSDNC control of the info stream. Ask counter questions to initiate thought versus repeat echo of SDNC propaganda. Guide, awaken others through the use of facts. I keep bringing it up, but you're taking your information here through mission 2, bridge through linking, and you're taking it to the battlefield right here. And you're asking counter questions to initiate thought versus repeat echo of MSDNC propaganda. Mission 4. This was more prevalent back in the day when we were all getting booted from everywhere. Learn to use camouflage digitally. Primary account suspended, terminated. Use of secondary. I have a secondary account. It's called Tracing Justice on X. That's my secondary account. Had to create one. I got kicked off the battlefield for a little bit. So guess what I did? I sat right down and I made a new account and I got back on the battlefield. That's what that means. Mission 5. Identify strengths, weaknesses. Personal and designated targets, RE Twitter and Facebook, plus other example RE memes, failure to read through the use of algorithm. What that means is back in the day, the algorithm back then couldn't read a meme. Okay, so we used memes to spread our information without getting banned. Okay. ThinkTron Master Control Program, dependence on person-to-person capture, slow response time, unidentified users. What that means is, have you ever made a post, and then you get some rando coming in there just spouting a bunch of bullcrap, and you never see them again? But you respond to them, but they never respond back to you. People, that's a bot. That's exactly what Mission 5 is talking about right here. Don't waste your time with them, folks. And if you're trying to figure out, respond to them, say something to them, and if they don't respond back to you, they're probably a bot. Move on. Game theory. Think 5D chess. Think Trump sitting right across from you, and 6 moves in, he knows exactly how to take you down, because guess what? He's got all the information. He's got all the information on everybody. Information warfare. Welcome to the digital battlefield. Together, we win. Q. That's the mission. That's what we're here for. That's exactly what we're here for. Ask yourself if you're on mission. All right, so let's go to there we go. Federalist. Breaking. New FBI Clinton doc reinforces deep state's dual standard of justice. So let's click on it. Let's see what it says. This is from the Federalist, okay? This is today, April 27th, 2026. The new FBI Clinton doc reinforces deep state dual standard of justice. Why do you think they hate Kash Patel so bad and they lie about him constantly? Because he is a threat to their survival. This morning, Senator Chuck Grassley released the FBI Washington's field office 12-page electronic communication that opened a preliminary investigation into the Clinton Foundation. Why would the deep state want to change the narrative Saturday? Did they know this was coming down? Did they know they have to get something else in the news cycle? What are false flags for? And when I say false flags, it's meaning it's an event that is planned by the deep state to shift the narrative. And all of a sudden, we're not talking about Southern Poverty Law Center anymore, are we? Its extensive evidence of potential pay-to-play criminality among the Clinton family confirms that the politicization and weaponization of the Department of Justice. Last year, another trove of documents, also released by Grassley, summarized the origins of 3 separate FBI investigations into the Clinton Foundation, opened respectively out of New York, Little Rock, and Washington, D.C. field offices. Q said that D.C. wasn't the only game in town, that there were other investigations ongoing outside of the District of Columbia. Huber was not the only game in town. As the Federalist reported at the time, those documents indicated that Ray Hustler, then head of the Department of Justice Public Integrity Section, PIN, did not support the investigations into the Clinton Foundation and withheld information from the U.S. Attorney's Office running the probe out of Little Rock. Special counsel John Durham would later question Hustler about the Clinton Foundation investigations, and former Penn section chief told Durham's team that although he had declined prosecution on the behalf of the public integrity section, he told the office he made it clear, however, the decision was not binding on various U.S. attorneys' offices or FBI field divisions. Think outside of D.C. Hustler explained his reasonings to the special counsel by claiming, in sum, that the FBI briefing was poorly presented and that there was insufficient predication for at least one of the investigations due to the reliance on allegations contained in a book. According to another section chief, the Department of Justice's reaction to the Clinton Foundation briefing was hostile. Think to yourself, even back when Trump took office, why were no arrests going on? Q told us why. That the DOJ was dirty to the core, still to the day. You can have the best person as head of the DOJ. You can have Jeff Sessions, at the time, was the best in the business of processing RICO cases. But if the people that's under him are dirty, you can't prosecute. That's why that we had to get to a second term, pseudo third term with Trump. Why? What was the main mission of 2025 that you saw? Cleaning out the DOJ. Think all these shutdowns we had. What happened during those shutdowns? People were terminated in mass. Remember when he told people to take the deal and they were downsizing the government? Now you see why. There's a plan to everything out there. Okay. The Iowa Senator then pulls examples from the Washington Field's office opening communication, beginning with the donations to the Clinton Foundation totaling $2.35 million from then head of Russia government's uranium company, Uranium One. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and look at this document, because you can go back and read this story from the Federalist if you want to. But let's go ahead and start reading through this document that has been presented by the Judiciary Committee, okay? All right, so let me see if I can increase my screen so everybody can kind of read along. Okay, this is addressed to Todd Blanche. Think, when optics are no longer important, When are optics no longer important? Think, I'm sorry, guys. Think temp. Temps can be dangerous. Who is the temporary AG right now? Todd Blanche. The Honorable Kash Patel, Dear Acting Attorney General Blanche and Director Patel. For over a decade, I've raised concerns regarding alleged actions taken by former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, including her use of non-government email for official businesses. If you don't know about the non-government email, what Hillary Clinton was doing back in the day, instead of sending direct email from Gmail to people, she would give them access to their Gmail account. She would make an email draft, so there was a record of nothing ever sent. But guess what? We have the servers. We have it all. Think Google. Think Palantir. That is how we have it all. We have the servers. It was reported by John Solomon 2 weeks ago that we have a copy of all of the servers that Hillary Clinton used. She tried to destroy them. Do you remember that? The Blackberries and all of that getting destroyed by a hammer? We have it all. Including her use of non-government email for official business, mishandling of highly classified information, remember that? And potential campaign finance violations and dubious Clinton Foundation financial dealings. For instance, on May 17, 2016, I wrote a letter to the then Federal Bureau of Investigation Director James Comey, raising concerns that many of the emails found on our non-government server blurred the lines between actions taken on behalf of the State Department, the Clinton Foundation, and Teneo, a private firm founded by former counselor to President Clinton. Then on July 6, 2016, I requested information from then Director Comey regarding public corruption issues, and the Clinton Foundation questioned the director on whether the FBI investigation into the Clinton Foundation regarding former President Clinton's speaking fees. Do you remember that? That was a whole big deal back then. He was receiving, like, I think it was $500,000 in Russia for a speaking engagement. $500,000 payment. Speaking fees from a former government while Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State. Think pay to play. Further, on August 8, 2016, I wrote the Department of Justice asking the department to explain its reported decision to drop reported inquiries into the Clinton Foundation and State Department interactions, specifically allegations that the State Department during Secretary Clinton's tenure took favorable actions for Clinton Foundation donors. Think Uranium 1. More recently, on December 15, 2025, I released records revealing the DOJ and FBI's apparent efforts to shut down investigations into the Clinton Foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, they were still trying to shut everything back down in December 15th of last year. Additionally, since 2015, I have raised concerns regarding the acquisition of Uranium One, a then owner of the U.S.-based uranium assets, by ARMS, a subsidiary of Russia's state-owned energy corporation Rostom. Specifically, in June 2015, I wrote several member agencies on the Committee of Foreign Investment in the United States. Remember this word? CFIUS. Remember that? We just learned about CFIUS. Okay? That was all of the heads, okay, that voted on this thing. Remember that? That we just watched that in that video. So let me back up. I wrote to several member agencies on the Committee of Foreign Investment in the United States, CFIUS, raising concerns related to the national security implications of the acquisition, which effectively ceded some U.S. uranium production capacity to the Russian government. 20% of our uranium was set to go to Russia. If we were such an enemy of Russia and they keep screaming, Russia, 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 why are we giving 20% of the uranium over to there? Now you see why they don't want us fooling with Russia. And they keep trying to make the divide between the United States and Russia. Guess what? Russia has the goods on Hillary Clinton. And guess what? It all traces back to Obama, people. That's why Trump keeps telling you. It all goes back to Obama. My work noted that there were also concerns related to potential conflicts of interest between the State Department and transaction parties, specifically that the chairman of Uranium One at the time, Ian Tefler, had made donations to the Clinton Foundation in millions of dollars while Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State. Remember, we have the servers, we have it all. Additionally, in October of 2017, I sent letters to several federal agencies requesting information on whether CFIUS was informed of ongoing criminal investigation into Rostom officials, that was in Russia, as well as officials of Tenex and Tenam, both subsidiaries of Rostom at the time of the transaction. So we basically, in layman's terms, they were investigating these Russia companies already before the Uranium One deal was going on. And he's saying, hey, CFIUS, did you know that this company and its subsidiary companies are under high investigation for corruption? And you all still approved it? Oh, that's right. It's because that Rostom and its owners gave millions of dollars to the Clinton Foundation, which have a vote on CFIUS. Are you making the connection now? Is it making sense to you now? Okay, let's keep going. Guys, I know the chat's going off, and I get it, but I'm trying to present some information to you, okay? So just kind of soak it all in and process all of this information, okay? Because it's very, very important that you know about this to get out here, okay? As a follow-up to the prior work on July 18, 2025, I wrote to the DOJ and FBI requesting all records relating to the FBI's Clinton Foundation investigation. Okay, July 18, 2025, Grassley and company wrote for these, all the records relating to the FBI's Clinton Foundation investigation. The letter was based on years of investigative work with courageous whistleblowers. Remember, Q says whistleblowers go both ways. Since then, your office has produced records based on these whistleblower disclosures, and I appreciate your cooperation with my investigative work. On January 29, 2016, according to the FBI electronic communication provided to my office, whatever Cash Patel has turned over to him, the FBI opened a preliminary investigation onto Bill, Hillary, and Chelsea Clinton Foundation related to its alleged use by foreign entities to corruptly influence decisions or actions or questions on matters, causes, or proceedings before the U.S. State Department. Included in the FBI's electronic communications are numerous allegations of foreign influence concerns that arose from speaking fees and donations to the Clinton Foundation. I want to stop right here real quick. I want to pull up something in the drops here. Oh, yeah. Sorry, guys. I do that all the time. I put it in the wrong place. Gotta find the drop. Give me just a second. Here we go. Post 988. We talked about this one a lot. Remember, post 988, April A. Okay? IG report. Sessions public attack. RR problems. This is a checklist, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Some of it's happened already. Some of it hasn't happened already. Okay? RR, if R equals 18, RR is 1818. What is post 1818? It's Hillary Clinton and Robert Byrd of the KKK. What have we been talking about recently with the Southern Poverty Law Center? KKK. RR problems, 1818, Hillary Clinton problems. What are we reading right now that just got released? What month are we in? April? Okay. Seals broken, arrest. Why was Huber made public? We're fixing to talk about Huber here in just a second. Why now? Everything has meaning. Remember I said this was a checklist. A1, tarmac. Okay, check, check. Already happened. Long time ago. Iran. North Korea still hasn't entered the game board yet. Uranium 1. FBI DOJ. What are we reading right now, folks? Robert Mueller, check. Already happened. What are we talking about? Election integrity right now. The SAVE Act. Immigration bill that's in the works. Border wall military start. Check, check, check. Happened last year. If you don't know, April was the activation of the military at the border. Check, check, check. So what are we waiting on? We're waiting on an election integrity bill. We're waiting on an immigration bill. Could that immigration bill be the fight that's going to be at the Supreme Court over birthright citizenship? Check, check. This is what we're waiting on right now, folks. At some point, North Korea is going to re-enter the story. I don't know when. Now, you could also interpret it that when POTUS stepped over, I believe, into North Korea, I believe that was in April. I could be mistaken. I'm just going off my memory here, okay? All right, so let's go back to the article, okay? Or the document. Are you seeing how news is unlocking the map right in front of your eyes? But all we want to talk about is how everything's fake. You're seeing a master plan unfold right before your eyes. You're seeing a master chess player coming down to the last moves. When do you attack the king? Where is the king at right now? Huh? Do you forget about that? When do you attack the queen? The king. Queen protects the king. When do you attack the king? At the first, middle, or last of the game? Let's keep going. For instance, according to the 2016 FBI electronic communication, then Secretary Clinton had to sign a memorandum of understanding regarding these foreign influence concerns, which she allegedly failed to comply with by failing to disclose 4 foreign donations totaling $2.3 million that were given by Ian Tefteller, then head of Russia government's Uranium One. Follow the money. It's key. Additionally, FBI Electronic Communications outlined that allegations of the Clinton Foundation hid a foreign donation of 2 million shares of Polo Resources, which was made by Stephen Dettels, a Canadian mining executive. That is important. Remember that. Because the Canadian government at the time helped smuggle this uranium out of the United States, which ultimately ended up in Iran. Why do you think Donald Trump wants the nuclear dust and everything from Iran? If you don't know this, this is another piece of little tidbit information that is so key. When uranium is processed, it has its own signature, and it's logged where it's created, and everything has a signature from where it came from. Sum of all fears. Do you remember the movie, how they found out where that uranium come from in that bomb? It had a signature. And they figured out that it come from Israel. That's why Donald Trump wants their uranium. Because it's going to prove that the uranium came from the Uranium One deal that went through Canada, that went overseas, went through Britain, then it went to its ultimate destination in Iran, and also to North Korea. You have to know these facts, people. It's so key. Because when we start having these military tribunals, we have to educate the public of what happened. Because people are going to be screaming to the hilltops that he is a dictator and that he's just trying to do whatever he wants. Mission 1, push against the narrative. You cannot push against the narrative if you are living here. If you're living in this little echo chamber right here of everything is fake and gay, you can't complete the mission. It's good to visit there. It's good to hang out there for a little bit. It's fun, but we can't live there. All right. The FBI Electronic Communications states that 8 weeks after the donation was made by James Moriarty, the U.S. ambassador to Bangladesh persuaded the energy advisor to the Prime Minister of Bangladesh to reauthorize opening of mines, including Philibari mines, to pit mining, which Polo Resources had invested in. Remember, Polo Resources gave a bunch of money to the Clinton Foundation. Okay? And also, they opened up. They got Bangladesh to open up their mines again. Okay? It's all a big web here, people. The FBI Electronic Communications also raised concerns about Uranium One acquisition, as well as the involvement and relationship between the Clintons and Frank Glisteria, the billionaire Canadian mining executive. Yeah, Tracy said Israel is the crown's last stronghold. We are saving Israel for last. That's what that statement means, in my opinion. Israel is not the end-all and be-all, but is the last foothold that we are eventually going to have to tackle. And we have to do it very strategically. Trump has to play the game right now. That's why everybody's like, oh, Trump's controlled by Israel. No, he's not. People, come on now. Use your brains. Netanyahu is not the end-all and be-all of this whole world. He's a very evil person. When you start replacing the chair with Rothschild, it all starts to make sense. Finally, the FBI EC, Electronic Communication, in section titled Miscellaneous Information, outlined in 2 separate instances of potential pay-to-play allegations. First, according to the FBI in 2012, Tony Rodham, Hillary Clinton's brother, company obtained a rare gold exception permit first issued in 50 years. So basically, it was the first one that was issued in 50 years for a gold exception permit, and that was Hillary Rodham Clinton's brother, and he obtained this when she was Secretary of State under the Barack Obama administration. All roads lead to Obama. From the Haitian government during the same time period in which billions of U.S. tax dollars had been spent in Haiti following the Haitian earthquake in 2010. People, it's all coming together now. Haiti. Once Haiti is revealed, it will be the end of the D Party as we know it, Q says. Haiti was so key in everything. It wasn't just child trafficking. It was a big part of it. It was a huge part of it, but it wasn't everything. And you're learning that right now. In this section, the FBI Electronic Communication also notes that Hillary Clinton traveled to Russia, where she prompted Russian officials to enter into a $3.7 billion aircraft purchase with Boeing. Boeing, just 2 months later, pledged $900,000 to who? The Clinton Foundation. My office was also provided with the FBI PowerPoint titled Uranium 1 Investigation FBI Little Rock. Remember, DC wasn't the only game in town. Q told us that. Which included background information and an investigative timeline on the Uranium 1 investigation, as well as outlined alleged instances for pay-to-play schemes involving the Clinton Foundation, Bangladesh, Taiwan, Abu Dhabi, another name I can't pronounce, and the VCS mining, among others. According to the records, part of the justification for opening the Uranium 1 investigation was the intelligence memo, which included information received from several bank SARS, suspicious activity reports. Okay, so here's what a SAR is. A SAR, and Tracy could probably talk about this too because she used to work in banking. A SAR is whenever there's a large amount of money transferred between bank to bank or account to account, it has to be recorded and it gets sent to the government to look into. I don't know if you know that or not, but it does occur. Okay? The records also appeared to indicate that as part of Uranium 1 investigation activity in December of 2017 and January of 2018, and let me tell you something, during those times right there, guess what was coming down on the Q drops? Between December 17 and January 18, what was being talked about on the boards? Uranium 1. Huh. Kind of like we have it all, right? Interesting. And the FBI interviewed Andrew Kessel, Mike Constantine, a former FBI confidential human source, Jose Fernandez, and Doug Band. The interview notes contained in the PowerPoint regarding the interview of Doug Band appeared consistent with FBI Electronic Communications opened years earlier. The interview notes state that the band believed that he traveled with former President Clinton and Tim Phillips to Kakistan in 2005. And the interview notes from the PowerPoint also indicate that former President Clinton met with Kakistan President, whatever his name is, during the trip. Frank Gustitra and band were present during the meeting. FBI Electronic Communications stated that Bill Clinton and Gustria were reported to have traveled to Kakistan together in September 2005 to meet with President, I wish I could pronounce that name, Nazarbayev. The visit was facilitated in part by the Russian businessman Sergei Kurzin. Kurzin helped Gistitra, the former new company called Eurasia Energy, to compete for a Kakish uranium mine deal, despite having allegedly no history in the uranium business. So basically, Bill Clinton met with these people and this president from Kakistan to get a uranium mine deal going on way back then. So they were dealing with uranium all the way back in 2005. Despite having allegedly no history in the uranium business, Eurasia Energy was reportedly awarded mining deals and uranium assets by Kakistan after Bill Clinton met with them. And at the time, it was President Bill Clinton. Eurasia Energy eventually merged with Uranium One, which was then purchased by ARMS, a subsidiary of Russia's state-owned energy corporation Rostom. Okay, layman's terms. President Clinton meets with Kakistan. Okay, they work up a deal, and then a company gets awarded Eurasia Energy for a Kakistan uranium mine deal. Okay, it's back in 2005. Never had any ties to anything uranium at all. This company just come out of the blue and won this contract by Kakistan after President Bill Clinton met with them. Okay, Eurasia Energy eventually merged with Uranium One, which was then purchased by ARMS, a subsidiary of Russian state-owned energy corporation Rostom, which got the contract from Hillary Clinton, the pay-to-play scheme, to get the uranium. Are you understanding? Are you seeing it yet? This has been a multi-year conspiracy against the United States, started by President Bill Clinton and continued on through the Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton, ultimately organized by Barack Hussein Obama. All roads lead to Obama. That is why Trump keeps telling you that. According to the FBI PowerPoint slide preliminary findings of January 2018, the FBI stated no evidence found to date revealing influence toward uranium's acquisition. However, according to additional emails and records provided to my office, substantial investigative steps were taken and outstanding investigative requests remained as late as March 2020. So basically, during Trump's DOJ, they were trying, the House and the Senate were trying to investigate this stuff, but they kept getting pushback from Trump's FBI. Who was Trump's FBI guy? Christopher Wray. We've all figured out he ain't a good dude. Christopher Wray was covering, and he was deep state. I could be wrong on that. Christopher Wray could turn out to be a good guy, and he was just playing the role. I don't know. Of trying to get them into a sting operation. I don't know. Okay? For example, according to a June 1st, 2018 email, 5 months after the FBI's preliminary findings of Jonathan Ross, the first assistant to the United States Attorney for the Eastern District of Arkansas. Remember something. Where did the Clintons come from? Arkansas. Arkansas is deep state. They might be red, but they deep state. That's where the Clintons got their start. That there's a whole criminal organization all over Arkansas, people. Why do you think that Trump sent one of his most trusted people to be the governor of Arkansas? Moves and counter moves, people. Connect the dots. So let me back up. The first assistant United States Attorney for the Eastern District of Arkansas to Cody Hilland, United States Attorney for the Eastern District of Arkansas, FBI Little Rock, had obtained 17 302s. Remember that 302 talk we always talked about way back in the day? Okay, so there was 302s, reports of investigation, basically, as well as 9 intelligence summaries. The majority of these 302 reports, according to FAUSA Ross, and FA is First Assistant Attorney, basically, pertain directly to the Uranium-1 component of the investigation, which, as we have previously discussed, and is actually not time-barred by the statute of limitations. So everybody out there saying that the clock has run out on all this stuff, oh no, 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 friends. The clock has not run out on any of this at all. But are you seeing how, even back before Clinton was president, he was in Arkansas and involved in all of that, and he was getting his little enterprise set up with all of these deep state plants in Arkansas. It was a multi-year operation, this Uranium-1 thing. I would classify that as RICO. The email also states the analysis of those records are ongoing to this day. No estimate on the time date of completion. According to FSA USA Ross, the intelligence summary regarding Uranium-1, aka UO, fails to account for the dynamic-related possible deliberately false misrepresentations and false statements that have been made by Uranium-1 officials to CFIUS to introduce the authorization sought to sell Uranium-1 to Rostam. So basically, they lied about everything. They presented this report to CFIUS. Okay, those guys knew it was all a lie. They were all in on the take already. Remember those little symbols where you're telling you from all the departments and who gets to vote on this Uranium-1 deal? Okay, that's what it's talking about, CFIUS here. It's talking about that they were provided false reports and misleading information, and they made the vote based on that. Even though that it was coming down saying, hey, these guys are criminal organizations and they're under investigation. You may not want to do this deal. But they did it anyways, and they made money doing it. This started back in 2005, and the moves were made all throughout these presidencies, to George Bush, to Barack Obama, getting all these people in place. They never thought she would lose, folks. Trump messed everything up. Q messed everything up. Patriots messed everything up. It's not a big movie, guys. It's moves and counter moves. Let me see if I can get some good information here. Moreover, the email from the first assistant of the USA District Attorney, Ross, to the AUSA Hilland also provides descriptions of intelligence summaries not pertaining to Uranium One, as well as the need for some additional investigative actions regarding alleged schemes related to other matters. It's talking about a Colombian free trade agreement, reversal of Hillary Clinton's previous stance on agreement after Gustra donations to the foundation. So obviously there was something going on in Colombia, and once she got paid, she flipped her views on it and approved something there, okay, without me digging into it. Boeing obtaining substantial contracts after donations to the foundation. The VC mining in Haiti obtaining contracts and licenses to mine in Haiti after donations to the foundation. This is where the Red Cross comes in too, people, in Haiti. It was all a big money funnel. And it was all operated by the Clinton Foundation. That's why the Q drops talk about Red Cross. That's why there's pictures in Haiti of all of these crates full of money in Haiti by the Red Cross. Are you putting it together yet? That's why it's so important to go do your research, people. Q drops is not at all just about decoding and look at this and look at this and look at this. Guys, this is what the Q drops are about. It's about news unlocks the map. That's why we do what we do. Right here. Not here. Right here. And Tracy makes a good point. We only are operating off 20% of available information. That's why we have to go through stuff like this to connect the dots. That's what we do, guys. We don't just sit around and wait on Dan Scavino to post the timestamp and drop a Q drop and say, oh, I was the first one to the finish line. I decoded it. That was me. That was all me. This is what the movement is about. It's about digging into stuff like this and making the connections for the general public. So when this stuff goes to military tribunals, you can say, well, guys, this is why we're doing it right here. This is why Trump has to do it, because we can't do it through the judiciary, because all the judiciary is corrupt as hell. So we got to come over here. And if you want heads to roll, which everybody's calling for, by the way, this is the only way we get to do it. And here's why we have to do it this way, because of all of this corruption. And this person was involved, and this person was involved, and this person was involved. You want to decode something? Tell the story along with it. Not to be the first one to race and drop a Q drop under Dan Scavino's post. And listen, I know we need that, guys. But we also need to go a step further, and we need to tell the story. People sometimes that live here, they don't know what you're talking about when you just drop something like that. Do what DC Lidstone does. He's quick on the trigger, but he also tells you a story too. He goes above and beyond instead of just making a post. Guard your emotions. Protect your mind. Look, 17 there. Can these people do a dig? I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. I'm trying to tell you what to look out for and why this is so important right now, folks. Ireland's out there struggling right now. They're at the brink right now. And you've got Irish Patriot doing everything he can over there to wake up his country. Elon Musk has reposted him. That man is doing everything that he knows possible to do. He's getting out in the streets. He's uncovering the corruption. He's trying to show everybody That's what this is about. It's not about fame. It's not about who has the most sponsors. It's not about none of that, guys. It's about saving our country. Yeah, we can make some money along the way. Of course we can. We got to be able to support ourselves. This stuff takes time. Listen, I don't fault anybody for trying to get a sponsor or do this or do that. But once you do it, and once you have that stuff and you have that financial support, don't become Channel 17 soap opera. Don't become Channel 17 General Hospital. Get out there and do some digs, people. Get out there and go through some of this hard stuff you got to go through sometimes to understand what happened and what's going on. Because it's coming. And you got to be able to explain this stuff. All right, so let's keep going. I know I keep going back to that, but it's so critically important. You know what this movement is about. My office was also provided with March 6, 2020 FBI Criminal Investigative Division, CID, investigative update memorandum, which included a timeline, as well as a status request made by the FBI, which remained outstanding. The memorandum shows that on March 6, 2020, over 2 years after the FBI's preliminary findings, that it had 3 pending initial requests and 3 pending additional requests. Who was in charge of the DOJ at that point? The Biden administration. Supposedly. Autopin. The first outstanding pending initial request from March 6, 2020 related to the Abu Dhabi pre-clearance facility matter. The second was related to Uranium 1, an outstanding request for interviews with Mr. Gistra, Mr. Tefteller, Mr. William Campbell, and foreign nationals specifically identified as having made statements concerning attempts to use the foundation, Clinton Foundation, as the vehicle of influence for Secretary of State. Basically, they were going out and selling Hillary Clinton to everybody saying, hey, guys, if you want to pay to play, all you got to do is give us the money. That's what was happening. The career officials at the State Department and the Undersecretary Fernandez communicated with prior to voting to approve the transaction before CFIUS and officials. And here's one thing I need to make clear to you. Officials at the Department of Energy that approved the export authorization from the trucking firm owned and operated by Rostam after CFIUS approval of the Uranium 1 acquisition. Okay, I want you to think of something here, okay? Let's go back and look at timelines, okay? It's so important, and this ties into the Q operation too, okay? At the Department of Energy, the highest security clearance is called a Q clearance, okay? Bob, $10 holler, thank you. Where we go one, we go all. Thank you, sir. And I believe, yes, USAID paid also comes in. It says, please hit a thumbs up, fam, for free. It helps Josh grow. Thank you so much, guys, for that help. I very much appreciate it. But what I was saying is that the highest security clearance was a Q clearance at the Department of Energy. All this stuff was going down between October 17 in 2018. When was Q's first Q drop? October 28th, 2017, by the entity known as Q. Are you seeing it yet? Are you understanding where the Q-op came from now? Are you understanding why it's necessary now to know this information? Do you understand where we're going with this information now? Why your role is important? It's not just Josh telling you all kinds of, information and gobbledygook and all this stuff so you watch my podcast. It's about so you know this information, you can get out on the battlefield and you can try to red pill some people. That's the mission. Let's see what else we got, because we got Wiener coming into the mix here in just a minute. The first outstanding pending initial request from March 6, 2020 related to the Abu Dhabi pre-clearance facility matter. The second was related to, and I backed up, to the Uranium One, an outstanding request for interviews with Mr. Giustra, Mr. Tefteller, William Campbell, and foreign nationals specifically identified by having made statements concerning the attempts to use the foundation as a vehicle and influence the Secretary of State. The career official at the State Department and the Undersecretary Fernandez communicated with prior to voting to approve transaction before CFIUS, that's that group that had to approve everything, the heads, and the officials at the DOE that approved the export authorization for the trucking firm owned by Rostam after CFIUS approval of the Uranium One acquisition. The final outstanding request involves search warrants for the Wiener device in the Clinton Foundation servers to obtain communications between Mr. Band and others at the Clinton Foundation that were coordinating meetings with the State Department employees and foundation donors after apparent gifts and donation to the Clinton Foundation. Okay, let's back up here just a second. So it's saying that the final outstanding request involves search warrants for the Wiener device. Think the Wiener laptop. Where is the Wiener laptop located? In the Southern District of New York. Let's pull up a Q drop, shall we? And I'll share my screen with you here in just a second as soon as I find it. Here, let's read this drop. We're going to read this one over here. This is post 2816, 2/19/2019. The declassification of all requested documents, what we're seeing right now, folks, this is what we're going through, plus more will occur. This is not a game. Do not let personal emotional desires do it now. Why is it taking so long now? Take over. Logical thinking and strategy should always be applied. Game theory. We want to see equal justice under the law. New threats, investigations by Southern District of New York. Adam Schiff is going to tie into all this, ladies and gentlemen. Who was protecting the Wiener laptop? Adam Schiff's daughter. She is no longer with the Department of Justice as of a couple of months ago. Funny, this is all coming out now, huh? And Maxine Waters, in an effort to delay, prevent, and release insurance extension, will fail. What was on the Wiener laptop, folks? The insurance file against Hillary Clinton. It's Uranium One on that too? Is all the deals. We have all the servers. We have it all. Transparency is the only way forward. Define the following: treason, sedition, subversion, conspiracy to commit ... Do you understand and fully appreciate the gravity of the situation? Are you seeing the gravity of the situation now? Do you understand and fully appreciate what POTUS endures each and every single day? Think about Saturday. He loves this country. He loves you. We must stand together in this fight. There is evil in this world. There is darkness in this world. There are those in power who wish to control, enslave you. Think COVID-19. To keep you sedated. To keep you unaware. To keep you blind. This will be our timetable, and we will deliver. Transparency and prosecution. There is simply no other way except one. And if for some reason Trump had not won in 2016, they were prepared to take over the government with the U.S. military. That was the except one. Here we go. Let me go back to this post right here. This post 4484, guys. Southern District of New York. Importance of Southern District of New York. Jurisdiction. Wiener evidence collection. Clinton Foundation. Epstein evidence collection. Ukraine. Those four. Ukraine. Wiener Foundation, Clinton Foundation, Wiener evidence collection. Focus on the above for now. Watch New York City. The guard is refusing to step down right now in Iran. POTUS refusal to formally nominate, appointed to the post by Southern District of New York judges, unusual removing of acting. The stakes are high. They will fight. Super Bowl is bigger than the puppy show. Or the Super Bowl leads to the puppy show. Let's go back to our document we're going over. The final outstanding request involves search warrants for the Wiener device and the Clinton Foundation servers to obtain communications between Mr. Band and other Clinton Foundation that were coordinating with meetings of the State Department employees and foundation donors after apparent gifts donations to the Clinton Foundation. We are seeing this report now because Maureen Comey is no longer protecting the Wiener evidence and everything in the Southern District of New York. That's why we're finally getting some answers now. Moves, counter moves. The three outstanding pending additional requests from March 6, 2020 were related to a request from the Eastern District of Arkansas, think Clintons, to FBI to search their holdings for material seized from the Paglino server, a question regarding the status of a review of 14,000 emails that were turned over by the State Department as a part of tranche of 17,000 emails that were found by mid-year investigators that had not turned over by Mrs. Clinton lawyers. Remember when she told, oh, well, I've turned over all the emails. It's everything I've got. Do you remember her saying that back in the day? Remember that? And review of ethics and conflicts of interest documentation for Cheryl Mills. And guess who's entering the picture now? Huma Abedin from the State Department. There you go. Follow Huma. Huma also refers to Barack Hussein Obama. I hope you guys are getting something from this. I really do. I really hope that you guys are actually absorbing this and processing all this information. Based on the information provided to my office, the outcomes of these investigative matters is unclear, as well as the outcome of the investigations into the additional allegations raised by the FBI. As such, I am requesting that the DOJ and FBI provide answers to the following no later than May 11th, 2026. Something else is happening May 11th, and I can't remember what it is. Chat, if you know what's going on May 11th, something's going on with the Trump administration on May 11th, and I can't remember what it is. So we're going to write that. We're going to write that date down, May 11th, and we're also going to look up some deltas for that day too. So, number one, what they've requested. Provide SARS. Remember, that's all of those reports that the government makes on all of these huge transactions going between account to account, okay? They go and look at those and see if they're fraudulent or not, who they're tied to, and things like that. produced and associated with the FBI Clinton Foundation Uranium One investigation. Provide all 302s and intelligence summaries produced as part of the FBI's Clinton Foundation Uranium One investigation. Number 3, what was the outcome of the Uranium One investigations, as well as the outcome for the additional pay-to-play allegation raised in Exhibit 1? Think about Haiti, okay? Think about, we were going through some of the other pay-to-play stuff, so you can go back and read it through this article. I'll post the link to it. Provide all transcripts of interviews conducted as part of the FBI's Clinton Foundation Uranium One investigation. Provide all emails and records in Exhibit 1, as well as those records produced in conjunction with requests in questions 1 through 4 in an unredacted format. Thank you for your prompt review and response. And this is some of the documents that we were just talking about, okay? You can go back and look through a bunch of those. What a show. 2 hours and 36 minutes long. All right, folks. I've told you over and over, once Uranium One comes back into the mix, think of Dan Scavino's post the other day of the motorcycle going 10 times the speed of everybody else. We are now in the speed process. Go review drops on speed. We're coming into the meat and potatoes of things, folks. You can't be distracted. And again, you can't live here. You can't live all the time in fake and Gayville. Okay? This is Twitter. If you're joining this late, this is Twitter right here. Okay? This is Twitter world. Okay? This is fake and gay land right here. Okay? This is where we kick it and throw around ideas and say, oh yeah, that person's fake and that person's fake and blah, 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 blah. This is Anonville. Okay? This is where we're all sharing information just like we're doing tonight. Okay? This is Anonville. Anonville actually lives in, with fake and Gayville. Okay? It's fun to live here for a little while. It's fun to be here. Okay? But we can't live here. We can't even live here, guys, because the information that we get from right here, it's got to go out to the general public. Okay? We need to spend a lot of our time here. We need to spend some of our time here. And when we're tired, we can go back to living right here just for a little bit. Okay? But then we got to get back here, getting more information like we have tonight, and then getting out to the general public. That's the mission, folks. So if you're watching podcasts all day long, and that's all they talk about is fake and Gayville, you're not getting the information you need to go out here. Okay? This is fun stuff right here. This is la 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 la. We're having fun. We're having discussions. Is JFK Jr. alive? Is Michael Jackson alive? All that good stuff that we like to talk about, okay? Is medbeds a real thing? Blah, 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 okay? That's fun stuff, okay? That's a little bit of the portion of X. So if you're living there, you're in this big old silo with a bunch of other people talking to an echo chamber, and you're singing in the choir. I don't know how else to put it to you. As nice as I can be. I love all y'all fake and gay people out there. I get it, okay? The Biden presidency, understand it. Understand it. Get it. We got to come out of fake and Gayville now, okay? Because information like this that we just went over is actively coming down the pike now. We got to get out of having fun mode, okay? We got to get back to work. It's time to hit the pavement now, folks. Speed's coming. Dan keeps commenting over and over about speed. It's going to be coming at you so fast. All this information is going to be coming at you that the administration is going to push down to us to get out to the general public. And you can't do that if you're living in that silo. You're not talking to the right people. We've all heard it. You're preaching to the choir. Okay? You got to get back out there on Facebook. You got to get back. If you only stay on True Social, guys, come on. True Social is not the battlefield. It's your nice little cozy place to be that nobody's going to challenge what you're going to say. It's that safe place. It's that bridge through linking place in Mission 2. We can't live there, guys. We can't live on True Social. You can't live on Parler. You can't live on Getter. Okay? You can't do that. Ask questions to induce more questions. Make people think a little bit. At the end of the day, you want to take a day off or whatever, kick it with your fake and gay buddies for a little while. Yeah, that guy's fake. Look at him. Did you see that neckline right there? That don't look real. I mean, it's okay to kick it with that stuff every now and again. We all do it. Hell, me and Tracy do it. We'll lay in the bed sometimes, and we've had a long day or something. We'll talk about that kind of stuff a little bit. Well, guys, I hope that this has helped you a little bit. I hope that what I showed you has sunk in a little bit. I got to go eat some dinner. I know that Tracy's probably like, good Lord, Josh, I come home and you're on alive. But I thank everybody too that's in the chats and talking amongst each other and really absorbing this stuff. I thank everybody that's giving me a thumbs up or a repost or things like that. We got to get this message out there. We got to keep pushing forward because again, speed's coming. Scavino's already told you it's coming. The Trump administration needs you to get out of this echo chamber, guys. We got to start putting in the work again. Fun time's over. Trump needs us. I love you guys. I love each and every one of y'all. That's why I do it. That's why I try to get my work done, my real life job done, so we can come home and preach the word to you. We can preach God's word to you. We fellowship with you. And we provide you digs and information. That's why we work in Truth or Media, is to bring you information. To bring you good information and good points of view on what is going on in our world. We dabble in a little bit of the fun stuff, We love to laugh and we love to carry on just like anybody else does. We're real people. I'm a real person, guys. I live in Mississippi, southern Mississippi, if you couldn't tell. And by my accent. All right, guys. I'm going to wrap it up. For everybody that's been joining me on Facebook and YouTube for the first time, thank you and welcome. I very much appreciate everybody watching and viewing. Everybody on X, thank you so much. X has really been kind of hindering us as far as our views and stuff. But you know what? We don't complain about it. We keep pushing. That's what we do. We keep pushing. We always remember the mission. That's why it's in my intro. It's so important. That's why it's in my intro, guys. All right, guys. I'm going to end us in prayer. Okay? Thank you again for joining us. Lord, I come to you in Jesus' name, Lord. Hallowed be thy name. Lord, I thank you for giving us another day on this earth to spread your word, Lord. Spread the good word about how Jesus come and died for all of our sins, Lord. and about how you gave your son up so we could have a path to glory, Lord. And I ask, Lord, that you help us spread that word. And Lord, I told you a long time ago that I would use my platform in your name, Lord. And Tracy and I are trying our best. And we're trying to stay to your mission, Lord. And that's the number one mission, is spreading your word, Lord. And we thank you for everything that you've done for us, Lord. We thank you for everybody that you have put in our lives, Lord. We thank you for everybody that you have removed from our lives, Lord. We even thank you for the refiner's fire that we've been through, because you have molded us into a different couple together. And I thank you for my wife, Lord, that she stands by my side every single day in this fight, and I'm by hers. And I thank you again for all of our friends that we've made along the way, Lord. I thank you for this beautiful, beautiful land that you have given us, Lord. And we have dropped to our knees, Lord, and asked you to heal our land, Lord. And you gave us a plan, Lord, to do it. You gave us the man to carry out this mission for you, Lord. But most of all, Lord, we worship you in the things you have done for us. And I thank you, Lord. In Jesus' name I pray, as we put on the armor of God, Lord, and fight the fight in your name, Lord. Amen. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and raid you over to AJP tonight. Let me get that pulled up real quick. And so you can at least go over there. I know we're 3 hours away from his show starting. At least go over there, and if you can't watch tonight, give him a thumbs up, hit the replay, tomorrow on your way to work or whatever, before you start watching Steve at noon. Please, please, please give AJP a thumbs up. So I'm getting that ready right now. Looks like that he is ready to roll for whenever he starts. Guys, I hope that you have enjoyed tonight. I certainly have. Please, please, please share my show out there. That's all I ask you to do. If you could just share it and absorb the information, keep it in reserve for right now. Keep learning. Keep learning. If you don't understand something, ask. We've got all kinds of people in this community you can ask if you don't understand Uranium 1, or you don't understand pay for play, or you don't understand Crossfire Hurricane, or things like that happened. That's all coming out to the forefront. That's what we're here for. I'm not here to put you down or nothing like that. I want you to get caught up. If you've just come into this movement in the last couple of years, or the last year, or last month, or whatever, that's what we're here for, is to get you caught up so you can be the calm in the storm when it comes. Because it's coming. I see it on the horizon. All right, guys. Hold on just 1 second. I thought I had something ready. I'm not as good of a podcaster as AJP is. I'm learning. I'm trying. I'm learning. All right, I got that set up. Pilled. Got to be honest with you, I really don't see anybody live that I really want to raid to. Not raiding you to some of these guys because I don't agree with their messaging. Trying to see if anybody else was live. All right, so we're going to pass on raiding on Pilled. So again, join AJP Army on pilled.net at 11 p.m. Eastern. Join him on Rumble or X, and I think he's got a Twitch. Don't know the address to that, so I would just search AJP Army on that. What does AJP always say? Stay in the love, stay in the light, and stay in the fight. I love that. And let's go make fishers of men, and let's go save the Republic. Good night, everybody.
You thought you could bury me. thought the dark would close in. You were wrong, you don't know who I am, and you never will. You drew the line in the dirt and flame. They said I'd break, said I'd shame. Whispered threats through a locked back door, but I've heard sound before. You pushed and pulled, tried to crack my back, but I don't collapse like that. I don't run, I don't bend, I don't bow to fear of men. When the dust clears, you'll see you never buried me. We're not backing down, we're holding the line. Truth will be heard, not just whispered in time. You can't stop this, we will not fall. When justice rises, it answers the call. You thought you knew what I stood on, but this ground's been here too long. Still in the blood, fire and breath. I don't scare easy at talk of death. You don't know the weight I carry, or the hand that stands behind me. You can shout, you can lie, try to crucify, but chains you swing and stones you throw only make the pressure grow. We're not backing down, we're holding the line. Truth will be heard in its own time. You can't stop us, we will not fall. Justice is coming, and it's coming for all. You thought you could take me down. You don't know who I am. I don't stand alone. God holds my sword of truth.